India and Sri Lanka signed a free trade agreement in the last years of the 20th century. So as we moved into the 21st century, it has helped us improve trade figures between the two nations. Of course, the trade figures weigh heavily in India's favor. The total trade is approximately $5 billion US. But weighing in India's favor is quite normal because you have a larger industrial base in India. And but at the same time, Sri Lanka's exports to India is also important to us. So there are certain impediments that Sri Lankan exports face in India. Perhaps the intention is to protect Indian production, but Sri Lankan exports don't really compete with Indian manufacturing. It caters to a different niche of India. There's a market segment that has a demand for Sri Lankan products, such as value-added tea, apparel that caters to a certain segment, maybe porcelain, high-end porcelain. So these are very niche products that do not necessarily have an impact on Indian manufacturing. I believe that your new government is very investor friendly. There's a buzz and there's a huge hype everywhere globally that India wishes to attract investments into the country and also be outward in trading with the world. And I think also India has put a large emphasis on the region, on the SAARC region, and to assume India's role of leadership in the SAARC region, which is important to smaller countries of SAARC because SAARC as a collective benefits smaller countries. To be a group benefits smaller countries. So India's economy becoming more pro-business is very important to the rest of the region. It's a little bit early to see an impact of any policy changes, because policy changes, as you already know, will take some while for us to actually realize the impacts of it. But having said that, reduction of the bureaucracy, limiting of procedures always have its immediate impacts, like shortening of processes. So it is also beneficial to smaller players because a country like Sri Lanka has only a limited number of investors that would go overseas. We have, I think, a few investors here. One is in the apparel industry. We have a fairly large investment in Visakhapatnam, and also in the hotel industry, because these are areas that we have expertise on. And given that the government is very pro-business, is important to smaller players, because then the red tape is less for them and they have less apparatus to deal with a huge bureaucracy. So if the process is streamlined, it helps the smaller players as well. So I think that's very important.